Hello everyone. I wanted to take a moment. I wanted to talk to you about prejudice. You know, when people bring up the word prejudice, a lot of times they think of race relations and things like that. Well, that's not the thought that I'm having this morning. I'm actually wanting to talk to you about prejudice in the garden. This is a really important lesson that I learned years ago, and it's had a huge impact on my ability to grow things successfully. Prejudice is when we judge things without all the facts. We judge it prematurely. If we had all the information, we would have made a different decision. That's what prejudice is. So years ago, if you would have come to my farm in an early spring morning, let's say, but it was cool, you might have found me going throughout my farm, killing all the paper wasps nests that were starting in my workshop, on our store, in our greenhouses. The paper wasps would be making nests. So I would go on a cool morning when I wouldn't get stung, and I would start knocking them all down, thinking that I was somehow protecting my family or protecting myself from getting stung. Well, what I didn't realize was I was actually hurting myself. So I I listened to a seminar by Jerry Bernetti at the Moses Conference in Wisconsin that winter. And in that seminar, it was on insect relations with plants. He was talking about how cabbages, when they're bit by a cabbage looper, the cabbage looper is a little green worm that you get that eats your cabbages. When the cabbage looper bites into that cabbage has the ability to release a special scent into the air that a paper wasp can follow within an inch of where that cabbage looper's at. And when he said that, I just hung my head. And the reason I hung my head is that I had a cabbage looper problem. My cabbages were getting pounded by cabbage loopers. So here I was, killing the very thing that the Lord had created to be the predator of the cabbage looper larva. So you see, a wasp nest that's this big, let's say 4 to 5 inches in diameter, literally needs thousands of these little caterpillars in a season in order to feed their young. So here I was taking down the very thing that would have fixed my problem. So now all of a sudden, I am the biggest friend of the wasp. So the next season, I had, I think, 5 or 6 of these big nests on my store, by my garden, in my workshop. I mean, I had nests everywhere, and I let them go. Well, guess what? My cabbage looper problem went away. It doesn't mean that I have absolutely no cabbage loopers. I will find some, but they're not hurting my crop at all. So do you understand now why prejudice, the fact that I didn't have all the facts about those paper wasps, actually hurt me? Well, I just want to get you to think, how many other things like this in the garden is this a reality? Where we go into the garden and we see insects, we see things that we don't understand, and we start indiscriminately just killing them because we're worried they're going to do something. I have a rule in my garden. I tell my children, you're not allowed to kill it unless you know for sure what it is, and unless, I've told them that is something that we want to make sure that that's not there. So if we find a new insect, I don't care how bad it looks, when we find a new insect, unless we take the time to study it and figure it out, we don't kill it. I've asked the Lord for all the diversity that I possibly can get in my garden. And the more diversity that I get there, the more healthy my crops are and the better my garden grows. So I just hope this gives you a different perspective as you are in your garden, to just realize that things that might spook us or scare us, like a wasp, are actually there to help you. God created everything with a purpose. And if we allow those purposes to stay balanced and play out, I think we'll find that our gardens and our growing areas will be so much better. Now, before I leave, I wanted to show you all these pepper plants. These are those 130 different varieties, brand new varieties. Now, I've started to test some of them, and it's amazing the different flavors. I found a tall one that has small, what looks like hot peppers, and it was just as sweet and nice as can be. One of the nicest sweet peppers I've ever eaten. I am so excited about going through and testing these, and I want to do a video actually showing testing the different peppers and stuff and allowing you to see what that is like. And then over here are my seed onions. These were years ago I started saving the seed from copra, which was my favorite storage onion, which was a hybrid. And I'm going to take you through, and as these mature, as they go to flower, and as they get closer to harvesting the seed, I'll be taking you and showing you that whole process and helping you understand how to save onion seed. And actually, eventually, maybe have your own variety of onion. So I hope this information was helpful. I hope you'll take to heart the idea of prejudice. Try to understand what you can in your garden, but if you don't understand it, don't jump to conclusions. So I hope this was a blessing. God bless everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.